Creative ideas for a vertical garden. To get started at home, try out wall container systems in which plants are fitted in crevices or planted in containers that allow them to grow vertically and cover all or part of the wall. Wally Grow is one such system that has been around for a while and has perfected its products. Most succulents are drought-tolerant and don't require regular water, making them a sturdy species for living or vertical walls. With their rich colors, textures, and fascinating shapes, succulents make a beautiful medium for living wall art or tapestries. This wall thrives in San Diego County, California. Residents of the coastal town of Del Mar, just north of San Diego, enjoy their outdoor spaces most months of the year. Created by Designs by Shelleen, this yard features a patio with a raised fire pit and an espalier trellis backdrop. A refurbished home in London's Dulwich settlement features a patio designed by Antonia Schofield of CP Landscapes. Conceived to complement the home's architectural design, the space has walls teeming with a variety of plants such as hardy agapanthus. The benches were made from softwood decking boards, feature casters for movability, and a hinged top for storing pillows and other outdoor necessities. Outdoor structures besides walls can serve as vertical gardens, such as this vine-covered arbor designed by the Garden Route Company. The modern mountain home in Northern California features sustainable construction methods that blend with its natural surroundings while being environmentally conscious. Reclaimed barn doors provide a focal point to a Greenwich Village courtyard garden created by Jeffrey Erb Landscape Design. Originally a dark space, the firm added built-in planting beds, salvaged pavers, a trellis wall, and a two-tier planting system that lets vines climb up 2 stories toward more light. A crisp, white house in Madrid is made even more appealing by Casa Josephine with the addition of a wisteria and bay laurel tree. The two were planted near each other so that at least one, the evergreen laurel, is always green and in bloom. The designer tied the wisteria's main branch to a vertical wire suspended from the roof, and it is supported by wires that are anchored to the wall. The purple blooming wisteria covers the home's facade in spring and summer. London Scenario Architecture designed a well-organized outdoor space for their clients that makes smart use of tight quarters. When not in use, children's bicycles and garden equipment are stored in the built-in hardwood benches. Plants are meticulously maintained and include a pomegranate tree, grapevines, heuchera, olive trees, English boxwood, wisteria, and assorted herbs. A roof deck in New York's Chelsea neighborhood bursts with color. Designed by Lynn Gaffney Architect, the space is situated in the midst of an industrial, commercial area, but offers lots of privacy with living walls. An antique Balinese temple gate with a Japanese basalt stone lantern leads to an Asian-influenced garden with a custom-designed maze and blue stone. San Francisco-based Zertair Landscape Architecture used hundreds of plant species to create an exotic fantasy-type garden that features varieties such as red-leaved banana trees, giant birds of paradise, towering black bamboo trees, and Japanese bloodgrass. Living space is extended to the balcony of this Mumbai home in a high-rise. KNS architects used Jolly laser-cut corian that is backlighted to provide a soft glow for the outdoor space. The mid-century modern-inspired chairs resemble spun fiberglass designs from the 1960s and early 1970s and echo the shapes in the ceiling panel. A bright living green wall provides contrast. Colorful, well-designed yard created by Kim Rooney Landscape Architecture features cedar frame trellises that support English laurel hedges, great for creating privacy walls. For colder climates, such as Chicago, Rooney recommends growing living walls with Hicks yew or a mix of shrubs and trees such as hemlock, Serbian spruce, flowering trees, and fragrant viburnum. Bare exterior stucco walls without windows can be made more interesting with the addition of a vertical wall planter. Make sure the planter is sturdy enough to hang on a wall and has a flat back. Use the container rule of thrillers, fillers, and spillers for a wall vase or pot. Succulents are packed tightly into the slats of old wooden shutters hung on the wall of this house, providing a focal point, color, and greenery. Standing on the back patio, you'd never guess this Greenwich village home is actually a Greek revival built around 1840 and is 15 feet wide. The solution for designer Axis Mundi, naturally, was to use vertical space in the yard for greenery and privacy. The fence is clear stained teak and the vibrant chairs are Paul Allende. Others on the design team include John Beckman and Richard Rosenblum. Axis Mundi's living walls on a larger scale include their design for New York's MoMA Tower. Shapes and colors dominate in this modern, architectural yard in Johannesburg, South Africa. Created by Young Landscape Design Studio, the vertical planter on the wall was formerly a bucket elevator unit from an old bread factory that closed down and was retrieved from a salvage yard. Plants include a selection of hardy Echeveria hybrids and sedums. Yes, that's the iconic Eiffel Tower as viewed from this rooftop terrace. Located at the 9th and 10th levels of an 11-story apartment, the building was constructed after World War I as social housing for Paris's Habitation Bon Marché (HBM) program. Artelier FB installed a 19th-century hut via a crane on the terrace for the shared garden. Trees, vines, aromatic plants, and cherry tomatoes growing in small jars were placed throughout the space for all to enjoy. The sophisticated penthouses at London's Chelsea Creek include modern linear rooftop gardens with green walls designed by Aurelia. While each planting scheme is different, all are unified by structure, form, evergreens, along with accents of rust, orange flowers, and foliage. With an emphasis on organic, Native Sun Gardens redesigned the rooftop garden of a 16-floor apartment in San Francisco that produces vegetables and herbs for the building's residents. Using steel horse trough containers and steel-engineered cages, the vertical landscape uses pesticide-free soil, an organic compost tea, and foliar spraying. Years ago, whoever had these trees planted cared more about their privacy than the architecture of their house. Planted so precisely it looks like a measuring tape was used, the trees appear to have held up quite nicely and are doing their job. Note the giant birds of paradise peeking out over the hedge, they're evenly spaced, of course. Plain walls of a London courtyard garden were adorned by Silva landscapes with light green vines and potted plants that appear to thrive in the damp climate. If you or your gardener are expert hedge trimmers and the shrubs are healthy, growing a living wall that takes sharp corners and curves is possible. Just make sure you have plenty of time for maintenance, along with a good set of tools. The outdoor living space of a house in Molina de Segura, Spain, allows the sun to filter in while the high walls provide privacy. A modern, natural look is achieved with hardwood furniture that can tolerate sun, along with subtropical plants that look striking silhouetted against the white wall. The space was designed by Alberto Garcia. Known for creating imaginative living walls for residential, corporate, and institutional clients such as Salesforce, the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art, and Daily Motion, Habitat Horticulture transformed a traditional Los Altos stairwell into a work of art. One thing the firm's designers do differently than others, they're bold in plant choices. Species they use vary in texture and height or width, creating a less compact and more visually stimulating green wall. Orange cap honeysuckle vine runs rampant on a sprawling property in Northern California. Built by Reyes Landscape Construction, the estate features a wine cave built with concrete walls, a stone veneer, and heavy timber doors with metal hinges. Throughout the property, buildings and walls are covered with vines for a lush, old Italian rustic look. An outdoor room in London designed by Living Colour Gardens uses vertical real estate to create more space. Among its highlights, an illuminated Ipe wood bench, travertine paving, and behind the seating planting beds filled with agapanthus, Japanese maples, and allium. An old frame is suspended from a wood pergola, where it acts as a support for a young tree and some vines that need to be attached to something. For extra support, the frame is anchored on the bottom by wire attached to the concrete base. In the artistic Mexican town of San Miguel Allende, Guanajuato, Terra Landscape Design revived a brick courtyard patio with a pond, hanging gardens, and colorful bougainvillea for an old-world atmosphere. A lush living wall transforms a small courtyard into a beautiful outdoor social area. Designed by Biotexture, the wall features plants in a variety of textures and hues. Projects that recycle or repurpose common products such as plastic soda bottles proliferate on sites such as Instagram and Pinterest. This variation of the pop bottle plant container features an alternative way to hang them, using monofilament fishing wire or regular wire and anchoring the planters to a wood frame or other overhead structure. The namesake landscape designer of Amelia B. Lima and Associates used her own yard to experiment with vertical gardening techniques, with gorgeous results. Behind 40 feet of ornamental grasses and ferns is a steel structure covered with marine plywood and 2 layers of non-organic felt. Lima recommends Patrick Blanc's book, The Vertical Garden, for plant ideas and to select varieties that thrive in your zone. Among the plants that embellish her wall are sweet flag, fiber optic grass, carex, Scotch moss, philodendron, Boston fern, colocasia, and begonias. If you have a garden in tightly packed London, it's likely small and often situated on a rooftop or between walls or buildings. For a family garden, Harrington Porter, which specializes in bespoke city garden environments, used artificial grass on the floor and walls, along with an artificial green wall from Fake It Flowers. Softwood walls and a bench were painted in a dark hue to complement the house, while the herb planters are made of polystone. While the front facade of a historic home in San Francisco's Cow Hollow district remained for preservation purposes, Matazrazi Pelsinger builders redesigned the property to meet the homeowner's modern needs. Other than its external walls, not much of the original 1950s built home remains of this house in London. Redesigned by Stephen Fletcher Architects, the 2 levels of the house are tied by a living wall, which brightens the space on gloomy days and softens the acoustics. Designed by Treebox, the wall was created with recycled and environmentally friendly materials. Tall, vine-covered walls of a garden near Barcelona, Spain, can be accessed via a romantic spiral staircase. Bella's Art Studio design used different varieties of ivy to climb up and over the walls. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more interesting videos. And please hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm.